one of the things that we all may agree to is there is a lot of automation that is catching up. For that fact, one of the data point that I've been consistently looking at is the cost that is consistently being absorbed from business as and when there is an incident response activity happening, right? So we spoke about this panic driven approach of switching off the systems and operations completely going down. And trust me, this is impacting big time healthcare and pharma at the kind of crisis situation that we are in from a pandemic point of view as well. Now, how is automation catching up today, enabling better incident response? What is that customers should be really thoughtful of? Because automation, I'm sure, brings in with its own share of challenges in ground realities from an operational point of view, right? What are those fundamental scenarios where automation brings in a great value from a use case perspective? And what are those 1, 2, and 3 thoughts that you may be watchful of while enabling automation from an incident response point of view, Harshad?
Yeah, so definitely, see, coming back from the last point, right? See, nowadays it's an analytics play. Cyber is an analytics play. Whoever has a better correlation of events to identify the real event versus a false positive is the winner in this game, right? And you might be familiar with this now as you are in that arena. Every product says that they do everything now. They have agent, they have agentless service, they have SIM, right? And I think now the differentiator is who is able to better correlate and give less false positive. So that's where I think, and with the complexity and the amount of data getting collected, there's no way gone are the old days, right? Like without a proper correlation of the logs, there is no way you're going to do or be effective in cybersecurity. There is no way, right? Currently, if you see, some of the some majority of the hack, like if organization has a SIM, the SIM has detected it, but there were so many alerts. The team which is monitoring is not able to do a better job, or the rules they have written has missed this, right? And these are all now known tools, been there in the market for such a long time. So even the attacker has a mindset like what are the things which they can write to evade this standard rules. Standard rules are on internet, right? Like, so it really takes a lot of ingenuity and constant threat modeling from an organization, right? And some mature clients definitely are doing it. Some are trying to reach there, and some the product companies are also trying to see how we can automate the routine stuff, like maybe stop a quarantine endpoint or do a sandboxing, stop the kill chain, right? All those things are coming, but I think again it's a serious business, right? Like a lot of hackers know what they can do to evade the standards, and most of the organizations go for standards. Right? So it's a constant. I would say it's a continuous engagement. It's not something constant. I look at after 2 months, 3 months, it's not going to happen. Something we have to daily look at the intelligence coming out of certs and other Microsoft and everyone, right? And if you see, major hacks are not because of the 0 days. Yes, 0 days now people are talking about, but if you see the a lot of big hacks, it's because the patching, the patch release and the patch application, there is a lag, and then a lot of people exploit that lag. It's nothing. They have gone after 0 day, which is difficult, but these things are like basic things where the large hacks have happened. So automation definitely is helping a lot, without which I think with the amount of information we have, we'll not be able to move forward. It automatically shuts down system, does a lot of stuff, which is very, very helpful. And also reduction of false positives. That's where I think the game changer will be for the automation.
Fantastic. Shaumak, you may want to add a point over there, but then having said that, I mean, what is that, visibility that a mature threat intel can bring in? And more importantly, Harsha, as you rightly said before, it's important that people start owning it. It is not just one single entity that owns an incident response activity, right? And when we talk about that, the perimeter is completely different. Now, organizations equally have to be mature enough to start sharing their insights on what has been happening, because we know almost every organization is under attack at any given point of time, right? So it's important that even the smaller piece of information, when shared, and CERT is doing a great job over here, right? So so that knowledge sharing, especially the mature threat intel, how do you think Shaumak is going to help us out in critical times when an organization is breached?
Right. Before answering this, Praveen, I'd like to say probably, we are talking about automation, how it can help in incident management, incident response. Probably somewhere in the darknet, there is a gang of cyber criminals doing a webinar on how can automation help them in, creating an incident or, breaching a organization, right? Using automation. So quite possible. Now, coming back to a question, regarding threat intelligence, well, threat intelligence is important essence of incident management and incident response in today's world. It holds a lot of value, a lot of weight, and without threat intelligence, like you are fighting in silo. We need to collaborate and fight together as a team, with the industry bodies and with our peer organizations, and therefore sharing of this intel becomes extremely important. Now, while we are in the process of sharing intel, and there are organizations who natively, harvest intel across various sources and pass them as a thread feed to various organizations to be consumed in their monitoring platforms and incident response platforms. We see that, this helps the problem, no doubt in that, but it also adds a lot of, alert fatigue to the real analysts, who are behind the monitors, adds on lots of false positive. The prime reason, what we have seen as a practitioner is that, we find that the intel are at times very generic in nature. It do carry weight, but it may not be specifically for our organization who is consuming it. I think it's the need of the hour that we should come up with targeted threat intel, instead of generic threat intel. The intel should be specific for a specific type of organization. For example, if I'm running a manufacturing company, based in India, and I have of a certain size, I should probably get an intel specific to my vertical and my way of business. It should not be a generic, and it should also be specific to the asset I own. Otherwise, it makes no sense, right? So I think these things should evolve. I'm sure the industry is working on it, is going to evolve, because we really need to bring down the number of alerts that the threat intel generate. Otherwise, it's a tough job for the analysts to work on the incident management, area. That's number one. And number two, just adding on to the previous topic that you said, on automation. One thing I wanted to add on is
Sure.
Automation is about remediation. We're also seeing automation on the analysis side, where we are seeing bots are getting adopted by various platforms and also natively by organizations who really want to make the L1 activities completely bot-led activities, right? So we are moving towards that direction to reduce the false positive, which I am in agreement with what Harsha just mentioned. Yeah, Praveen.
Fantastic, Shaumak. But just to add a point on humor, what I've been hearing is the attack gangs within the dark web are being funded by the venture capitalists as well. So
yeah, so I told you, right? They might be having a similar webinar.
Absolutely.